Hello, my darlings. Thank you so much for joining me for Misabled Cooking. Before I get started, please like, share, and subscribe. Your support means so much to me, and I really thank you so much for being here. Just so you know, I originally was going to do a soup this week, but my grandfather passed away this Thursday, and I wanted to do a tribute for him, and so I made his favorite oatmeal cake. Love you, Grandpa. So first you need 1.5 cups of boiling water. One stick of butter. 1 cup of oatmeal. Just standard oats, not instant though, just regular steel cut oats. 1 cup of brown and white sugar. 2 eggs. We need 1 teaspoon cinnamon, 1 teaspoon soda, and a pinch of salt. 1 1/2 cup flour, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And a dog that is gonna climb in my lap because might be crying a little bit. So you're gonna add the oats, the hot water, and the butter all together first. And then you're just going to let that sit until the butter is melted and the entire mixture has cooled down. This will hydrate the oats and get that butter in there as well and get everything ready for your cake. You can do this ahead of time, maybe like an hour before, or even if you have oatmeal from earlier that day that you were cooking or that you cooked, you can just melt the butter on the side and then use that oatmeal and mix in the butter as well. It would be about 2 cups of oatmeal roughly. Tomo, go lay down. Go. Go, go, go. Go lay down. I'm just showing you here what it kind of looks like part of the way through. Sorry guys. Alright, so my oats have cooled down quite a bit. The reason why you want them to cool down is you don't want them to cook the eggs. We don't want scrambled eggs in our cook. I am putting this whole mixture onto my stand mixer and then showing that it's a crank model. I kind of wish that I had the lift up model, but so be it. We're going to add both sugars. And then get that to mixing. I am doing this only on medium. We just want to incorporate it. There's no gluten really here, so we don't need to worry about over mixing. But you want to make sure everything's incorporated. And I just slowly worked my way up to medium speed. If you have a hand mixer, that will work perfectly fine. Or even if you don't have a mixer, just go by hand. We're going to add the eggs in one at a time and then make sure that the egg is fully incorporated before we add the second one, just to prevent curdling and to make sure that everything gets mixed well. So once that is done, we are going to mix together our dry ingredients in a separate bowl. Just put the cinnamon, the sugar, and the salt into the flour and mix that in. I did miss saying it, once the eggs are mixed in, add the vanilla. Sorry, I missed that when I was looking away. And then once we've got the flour and everything incorporated with each other, we're going to add it to the wet mixture in installments. I believe this is the creaming method, even though we didn't technically cream the butter or anything, but I believe that's the method. But just do installments. Try not to spill like I did. This way we can, and make sure you're going on a lower speed. This way we can make sure that all of the flour and the sugar and everything is incorporated properly. Oh, now I'm adding the vanilla. I didn't miss it. I just jumped ahead. Oh gosh, it's been a rough week, guys. It's been a really rough week. Yeah, I know, Tomo. Yeah, I know. So I'm just gonna pat the paddle on the side there, and then you want a 9x13 pan, and I have lined it with parchment paper. I get the pre-cut parchment paper for cookie sheets, and then I just cut it to size. I just did a snip on each side to create a rectangle, and you're gonna pour the mixture into it. And once you just scrape everything out, you want to make sure that you get all of that oaty goodness. Don't leave anything to eat from the bowl, because you'll want to. Alright, so now that that's all together, let's take this to the oven. We're going to be cooking it at 350 for 35 minutes or until done. We're going to make the topping now. You're going to need a cube of butter, 1/4 cup of evaporated milk, 1/2 cup of sugar. I missed that. That is a cup of walnuts and a cup of coconut. And then another teaspoon of vanilla. Hi, Tomo. Tomo is my service dog, and so whenever I'm upset, he's right in my lap. So I'm sorry for the click-clack of the nails, but he's just taking care of his mama right now, and he's been doing a lot of that, which he's a good boy. Alright, first we're gonna let this butter melt a little bit. The recipe actually says to have it fully melted beforehand. I just do it like this because it saves time. Adding in the sugar when that butter is mostly melted, and the evaporated milk. We're gonna stir it together to incorporate it, and just cook until that sugar is completely dissolved. There will be little bubbles along the edge. You don't want a grainy topping. So just go ahead and mix this all together. You're gonna get a little bit of sugar on the edges. Scrape that down with your spatula and make sure that's all melted in. Add in your walnuts and your coconut. You don't have to have the coconut or the walnuts if either of those are to your displeasure. Just go ahead. You can either substitute with almonds or pecans, or just not do it at all. Once that's all incorporated, add the vanilla once it's cooler so that the vanilla doesn't evaporate. Once that's all incorporated, you're going to want to add the topping to the still hot cake. This is directly out of the oven. I made sure I checked the inside of the cake by sticking it with a knife and then pulling it out, and nothing stuck to the knife, so that meant that the interior was cooked. Once you spread that topping all the way over, set it under the broiler in the oven until the topping is golden brown. Keep an eye on it, it goes fast. I got a little bit of parts that are a little bit browner than others, but that's fine. That adds flavor. The cake is absolutely delicious, super moist, and the ice cream is optional, but also delicious. I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for kind of putting up with my emotions and my dog. This is Grandpa Ike. He is one of the best people I know. Very funny. Every time I would see him, I'd ask how he was doing. He said, "I'm old and ornery." And so he's my favorite old and ornery man. And without him, heaven got a little bit more ornery, but a lot better too. Thank you so much for watching, and love you.